Think about the last time you had a truly terrible day. Maybe your boss humiliated you in a meeting? Maybe a bill arrived you were not expecting. Maybe you had an argument with someone you love. Maybe you just woke up anxious and could not explain why. Now think about what happened next. Did you find yourself opening a food delivery app? Scrolling through things to buy online? Treating yourself to something you did not plan to spend money on? If the answer is yes, you are not weak. You are not undisciplined. You are not bad with money. You are human. And your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do. Today we are going to pull back the curtain on one of the most powerful and most expensive psychological loops that exists. The connection between stress, cortisol, and spending. And once you understand it, you will never look at your bank statement the same way again. When your brain perceives a threat, any threat, whether it is a lion on the savannah or an email from your boss, it releases a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol is your body's stress response. It sharpens your focus, raises your heart rate, and floods your system with energy to deal with the perceived danger. This was incredibly useful 200,000 years ago. It is considerably less useful when the threat is a difficult phone call. But your brain does not know the difference. Here's where it gets interesting financially. A landmark study from the University of Southern California found that high cortisol levels directly increase impulsive decision-making. Specifically, they reduce activity in the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for rational thinking, long-term planning, and impulse control. In simple terms, stress chemically turns off the part of your brain that manages your money. And the moment that rational part goes quiet, a much older, more emotional part takes over. A part that is looking for one thing: immediate relief. Stage 1. The trigger. Stress enters the system. The loop begins with a trigger. It does not have to be dramatic. Research shows the triggers that damage finances most are not the big catastrophes. The job loss, the divorce, the medical bill. Those are painful, but people tend to be mentally prepared for them. The most expensive triggers are the small, daily ones, the ones that accumulate quietly. A passive-aggressive comment from a colleague, a traffic jam when you are already late, a social media post from someone whose life looks better than yours, 3 difficult conversations in one day, a night of poor sleep that leaves your emotional reserves depleted before 9 in the morning. These small stressors release small amounts of cortisol. But they are constant, and constant low-level cortisol does something particularly damaging. It keeps your prefrontal cortex in a permanently suppressed state. You are not overwhelmed. You are just slightly chronically off. And that offness is costing you money every single day. Stage 2. The craving. Your brain seeks relief. The moment cortisol floods your system, your brain begins searching for something to neutralize it. It is looking for dopamine, the brain's reward chemical, and it has learned through repetition that certain behaviors produce dopamine quickly. Eating something pleasurable, buying something new, scrolling through social media, gambling, drinking, any behavior that produces a fast, reliable hit of reward. Here is what most people do not realize. The dopamine hit does not come from the purchase. It comes from the anticipation of the purchase. Brain scans show that dopamine spikes the moment you add something to your cart, before you have paid a single penny. By the time the item arrives at your door, dopamine has long since faded. What you feel instead is often nothing, or worse, a quiet guilt that adds to your stress, which triggers more cortisol, which starts the loop again. This is why retail therapy feels so satisfying in the moment and so hollow in the aftermath. You are not buying the product. You are buying the anticipation of relief from a brain that was desperately seeking an exit from stress. Stage 3. The spend. The moment your wallet pays for your emotions. This is the stage where the real financial damage occurs. And it is rarely a single dramatic purchase. It is a pattern of small ones. Research from the American Psychological Association found that stressed individuals spend, on average, 47% more per shopping trip than non-stressed individuals buying the same items. They buy more food than they need. They upgrade to things they did not plan for. They say yes to things they would normally think about. They skip the comparison. They stop reading the fine print. They just buy. Because the act of buying feels like a decision, and decisions feel like control, and control is the one thing stress has taken from them. This is the paradox of stress spending. It feels like agency. It feels like you are doing something. But what you are actually doing is paying for emotional regulation with money your future self needed for something else. And the industry knows it. Every major retailer, every food delivery app, every fast fashion website has been designed around this exact psychological state. Limited time offers, one-click purchasing, countdown timers, free next-day delivery. These are not conveniences. They are cortisol traps, engineered to catch you at your most vulnerable moment and remove every obstacle between your stressed brain and their checkout page. Stage 4. The crash. Guilt adds to stress. After the dopamine fades, something else arrives. The credit card statement. The bank notification. The moment you look at your account and realize what you spent. And with that realization comes a new wave of stress. Now you are stressed about money, on top of whatever originally stressed you. This is the cruelest part of the loop. The very mechanism you use to escape stress has created more of it. You have not solved the original problem. You have added a financial one on top. And what do stressed people do? They spend again. Psychologists who study this pattern call it the stress debt spiral. Stress triggers spending. Spending creates debt. Debt creates stress. Stress triggers more spending. And the spiral tightens with every rotation. A 2023 study published in the journal Psychological Science found that people experiencing financial stress were 3 times more likely to make impulsive purchases than people with financial stability, even when the amounts involved were small. They were not spending because they had money. They were spending because stress had dismantled the neural architecture that would have stopped them. Stage 5. The reset. How to break the loop permanently. Here's the good news. The loop is not permanent. It is a learned pattern. And what is learned can be unlearned. But the solution is not willpower. If stress has chemically suppressed your prefrontal cortex, telling yourself to just be more disciplined is like telling someone with a broken leg to run faster. The tool you need is offline. The real solution works in 3 layers. Layer 1 is awareness. The single most powerful thing you can do is learn to recognize the loop while you are in it. Not after, during. The moment you notice yourself reaching for your phone to shop, ask one question. Am I buying this? Or am I buying relief from something else? That 2-second pause is often enough for your prefrontal cortex to re-engage. Layer 2 is a replacement behavior. Your brain is going to seek dopamine regardless. The goal is not to eliminate that drive. It is to redirect it towards something that does not cost money. A 10-minute walk releases cortisol. Physical movement is one of the fastest and most clinically proven stress reduction tools available. So is calling a friend. So is 5 minutes of deep breathing. None of these feel as immediately satisfying as buying something. But they address the actual problem instead of masking it. Layer 3 is environmental. Remove the path of least resistance. Delete shopping apps from your phone. Remove saved payment details from websites. Add a mandatory 48-hour waiting period to any non-essential purchase over $50. These friction points give your prefrontal cortex time to come back online before the purchase goes through. You are not fighting your spending. You are buying time for your rational brain to return. Let me put a number on this. The average person in a developed country spends between $200 and $400 per month on what researchers classify as stress-reactive purchases. These are unplanned, emotionally driven spending decisions. Food, clothing, entertainment, subscriptions, and convenience purchases made in moments of stress or low mood. And that is between $2,400 and $4,800 per year, invested at an average market return of 8% annually. Over 20 years, that becomes between $110,000 and $220,000. $220,000 paid directly from your stressed brain to the companies that engineered their platforms to catch you at your lowest. This is not a small problem. This is not a bad habit. This is a systematic transfer of wealth from emotionally stressed consumers to corporations who built their entire business model around your cortisol response. The people at the top of those companies understand this loop perfectly. Now you do too. You are not bad with money. You are not weak. You are not undisciplined. You are not failing. You are a human being with a stress response system that evolved for a world that no longer exists, operating inside an economic system that was specifically designed to exploit that mismatch. That is not your fault. But here's what is in your control. Awareness. You now know the loop exists. You know the trigger. You know the craving. You know the crash. That knowledge changes everything. Because you cannot interrupt a pattern you cannot see. The next time you are stressed and reach for your wallet, pause. Just pause. Ask the question, am I spending because I need this? Or am I spending because something else hurt? And this is the fastest exit my brain could find. That pause is worth more than any budgeting app, any financial plan, any savings account. Because the most powerful financial decision you will ever make is not what you invest in. It is learning to stop investing in temporary relief for permanent cost. If this video made something click for you, share it with one person you think needs to hear it. Not because of the views, because stress spending is one of the most invisible financial traps there is. And most people are inside it right now without knowing it exists. And if you want to keep going deeper on the psychology behind why we make the financial decisions we do, subscribe to Motivated AI. Every week we publish videos on the mindset shifts and the science that separate people who build wealth from people who stay stuck. New video every week. Hit subscribe, turn on the bell, and I will see you in the next one.